If you could be cast as the lead in a romantic movie, who would you choose as your leading man to star opposite you? That is actually a no-brainer. The person who I would choose to be my lead is Channing Tatum. I have a little crush on that man that is crazy. And to tell you the truth, I don't think that I would be able to even get the job done, because I would just spend all my time just looking at him, just gazing at him, wanting to touch him to make sure that he's real. I think that Channing Tatum is gorgeous. And if he had on a little suit, like a little tux, and he was smelling all nice, and he was looking all serious and broody, yeah, that would be game over. Listen, right, I'm sure that some of you are screaming at the screen now, saying, yeah, right, Channing Tatum, you wish. Listen, leave me. A girl can dream, right? Leave me to dream. What's one romantic movie that everyone else seems to adore, but you just secretly can't stand? And why? Now, it's not exactly because I can't stand it, but it's a film that nearly everyone on the planet has seen, and I have never seen it. And I never saw it back in the day because it was everywhere, and people were going to see it 10 times, 15 times, 20 times, and the music, ooh, it was a non-stop hearing the song. So I decided that I didn't want to be a part of it, so I never saw the movie. And the movie was, can you guess it? It was Titanic. And beside that though, I do know that at the end, both of them die. So what kind of a romance is that? To me, romance is something that lifts your heart. It's something that is fantasy. It's something that you dream about. Nobody dreams about dying in the sea. So no, it's a film that, even though I am a movie buff and I like romantic movies and all that kind of stuff, Titanic is a movie that I have never seen. And the chances are I probably won't. But then again, never say never, right? What's the most romantic thing someone has ever done for you? Well, the most romantic things that I remember are things that my husband did. Now, I remember on our 10th year anniversary, he took me back to where we used to live years before, when we were struggling and we didn't have much. And we went back there and he took me where we used to go and drink our coffee, our little bar that we had at the bottom of our road, the shops that we used to go to, the places we used to frequent. And it was so romantic, walking down memory lane and seeing all our old haunts. It probably wouldn't be something romantic for everyone, but for me, yes, that was really a romantic thing because it was ours. It was our personal journey. And another romantic thing is still my husband. So he's doing good. He's got 2. He's doing good. And that was on our 17th anniversary. He bought me a bunch of roses. And the thing particular about these bunch of roses is that every single rose had a different color. There were colors in this bunch that I had never seen before. I didn't know that roses could come in some of these colors. I've never seen a blue rose. I've never seen a grayish. I mean, they were just beautiful, beautiful colors. And he had a little note that he had left beside it. And the note said, "These roses are like the years that we have spent together, each different, but each one just as beautiful." That is something that really stuck with me. I thought it was so romantic and I absolutely loved it. And the truth is, though, he has yet to top that. What's a romantic movie that you've only seen once, but the ending, good or bad, stuck with you so vividly you still think about it? Whew, that's a good question. The truth is that I have seen so many movies, so many romantic ones, and now in front of these questions, it's like I haven't seen one. It's like my mind is just blank. It's crazy the tricks that your mind can play on you. I'm sure there must be a few films that I've thought were horrible, but the one that came straight away to my memory is a Hallmark movie. It's a Christmas movie, and it's where at the end of this film, the snowman comes to life. It was so ridiculous. It was terrible. It really was a horrible, horrible movie. I mean, I know that sometimes movies don't have to make sense, and that's the beauty of it, right? But come on now, the snowman that turns to life and becomes a man. No, I just couldn't. I love Hallmark. I mean, Hallmark are one of my favorite brands when it comes to movies. I mean, as soon as they come out, I watch them. I love them. But you know, even the best sometimes can do something wrong. And that for me was definitely didn't work for me at all. Do you ever rewatch a romantic movie just for one specific scene or conversation? Which one, and why is it so perfect for you? Ooh, there are quite a few movies that I watch just because I want to see a particular scene or hear a particular conversation. And one of them is, I don't know if people would actually call it a romantic movie. To me, it's romantic because he's in love with Selma Hayek. And that's the film Magic Mike with Channing Tatum. And that's the scene where he does a private dance for her. Ooh, I don't know how many times I've seen that dance. It has got to be one of the sexiest thing that's ever been filmed. When at the beginning, he lifts up his shirt and he takes her hands and just makes it go all the way down his stomach, down his abs. I have to really kind of hold on to myself and say, ooh. Yes, that is definitely a number one scene. A second film that I watch over and over again, and it's not because I particularly love the film, even though it's watchable, it's fun, and that's, I think it's called Lost City with Channing Tatum. And it's with Channing Tatum and Sandra Bullock. And in this scene, they have just walked through a swamp, and he has all these leeches, these bloodsuckers on his body, and he strips down and he's like butt naked, and he asks Sandra Bullock to take these little things off him, to take these ugly things off him. And he's just standing there and he kind of like bends over, and it's like, ooh, with his little ass on display. Yes, I mean, that's like, oh my God, I'm telling all my secrets, but that's like a little guilty pleasure. I have seen that scene so many times, it's crazy. And if I could drop kick Sandra Bullock and take her place in that scene, I would. Oh my God, I shouldn't be apologize all this, but it's the truth. Yeah, that scene I've watched over and over and over and over again. Oh. But I have to say another film which is a little bit more serious, a little bit without Channing Tatum. And that's a Hallmark film with Andrew Walker. And Andrew Walker is one of my favourite Hallmark leading men. And I can't remember the name of the leading lady because she's my favourite leading lady and her name just escapes me right now. The film is called Snowed In Christmas or Snowed In something. And the two of them are writers for a newspaper and they have to both write a story and whoever does the best story will get the promotion. And they have to travel together and they get snowed in to this little inn and then the feelings start coming to the surface. And he learns that she was adopted. She's never had a Christmas with a family. So he brings her to his family so that she can experience a Christmas with a family. And that's a really beautiful scene. And I thought that was just so adorable. And at one point she turns to him and she says, and I just thought that was so lovely. And how sensitive would you have to be to do something like that, to give something like that to someone? So yes, that is a scene that I've watched many, many times too because it's just so beautiful. And that's a little gem of a Hallmark movie. What advice would you give to young people today who are dating and looking for love? There are so many things that I would say to young people today. Whew. And this one, I could talk about this for forever, I think. And I know that people might agree with me. There will be those who don't disagree with me. It definitely is a hot topic. One of the things that I would tell and I would advise young people today is not to just make a list of the things that you deserve in a person. I deserve someone who's tall. I deserve someone who has money. I deserve someone who's pretty. I deserve someone with a banging figure. I deserve this and I deserve that. What you should be concentrating on is what can you do to make sure that you are someone that someone else deserves. That's the first thing that I would advise the younger generation who are dating and who are looking for love. The second thing that I would try and advise them is to not focus on the wrong things. Because if you ask someone what they look for in a partner, they will say, like I said before, they want someone who's tall, someone who's got a good job, someone who's high value, someone who's beautiful, someone who's got a good shape, someone who's fit. And these are all wonderful things and we all want that. But I very rarely hear someone mention character. I want someone with a good character. I want someone who's patient. I want someone who's loving, who's nurturing, who's understanding. I want someone who I can talk to. I want someone who's intelligent. I want someone who can appreciate the certain things that I have to offer. I never hear someone talk about that. I want someone who's kind. Kindness is so underrated. If kindness is not at the base of everything, then it's going to be a disaster. When I got married, yes, I thought my husband was attractive. I thought he was good looking. He was for me. He was fine for me. But that's not what I focused on. I don't care about that. He was kind. He was kind to me. He was kind to his family. He was kind to others. And that is what really opened up my eyes. That is what attracted me. If you just focus on the physical, at the end of the day, I think for a lot of people, it's just to flex on others. Look at my man, he's gorgeous. Look at my girl, look how fit she is. But others aren't living with that person. Others don't know if that person, as good looking and as amazing as they might look, they don't know if that person is treating you right. And I personally would rather be with someone who makes me feel valuable, who makes me feel like I'm a priority, who makes me feel that they can't do without me. That's why I chose my partner. And I'm just saying that because I think our relationship thus far has survived because we didn't focus on all those things that I mentioned before. And we just went a little bit deeper. That's all I'm saying. And it worked for us. It might not work for you. It's not love and romance and relationships. It's not one size fit all. It never has been and it never will be. Like I said, it worked for me, but we all have to, find what works for us. What's a romantic movie trope you wish would just disappear from cinema forever? One of the things that I can't stand in movies when it comes to relationships is when someone gets together with somebody else for a bet. They bet their friends, I bet I can get together with that girl or with that guy, and they're all there cheering and doing all that stuff. And then, of course, the person realizes after a while that it's not just a bet for them anymore, and they start falling in love. And then, of course, the other person finds out that he or she just got with them for a bet. They get upset, but they always go back to the person. For me, that would be a pass, thank you. If you could have been so deceitful, if you could have been so cruel, if you could have been all of that, then quite honestly, quite frankly, I don't care what you're saying now. It means nothing. I couldn't be with someone like that. It would take a certain kind of mentality to even think and to try to go through something like that. And it would definitely be someone who's not for me. So I don't care how sorry he is afterwards. I don't care how much he begs and how much he pleads. It would be, that's a no from me. Sorry, not sorry. Which romantic movie character, lead or supporting, do you think has the most underrated quiet strength? Ooh. Now I'm sure there are many, but I have to mention the film that I made a review of last week, which was Marked Men. And in this movie, Rule, who was the leading character, but it was his brother who I thought had that quiet strength, who I thought was more of a leading man. And he was very understated, but he did some things that I thought was very attractive. Now, if you haven't seen this movie review of mine, I suggest that after you finish watching this, you go and watch that movie review, Marked Men, Rule and Shaw. It's a good film, but yes, like I said, the brother I thought was very attractive, even more so than Rule, the leading man, to be honest with you, especially towards the end when he went and saw Gabe. And if you want to know what he did to Gabe, go and watch the review. Yeah, Rome. Rome was the name of the brother. And I definitely liked and found attractive his quiet strength. Beyond the movies, what's a real-life romantic gesture, big or small, that you find completely disarming and attractive? Now, this is something that we see often in the movies, but it happens in real life too. And it's really a simple gesture. And that is when it's cold and a man realizes that you're cold and he takes off his jacket and slips it around your shoulders. That to me is one of the most attractive things. I don't know why. Maybe because it shows that he's prepared to be uncomfortable to make sure that you're comfortable. And that's really attractive to me. So yes, the jacket over the shoulders, that would win me over every single time. Another gesture though that I would find attractive is when you say something in passing, just like a throwaway comment, like, you saw a scarf one day of a certain color, or you read a book when you were younger and you really enjoyed that book. Just a throwaway comment. And then somewhere along the line, he gets it for you. It doesn't have to be an expensive thing, but it's something to show that he thinks that you are important enough to remember certain little details about. Something like that really touches me, and I think it's romantic, I think it's sexy, I think it's lovely, I think it's adorable, and it would most definitely go a long way with me. And remember, it doesn't have to be something expensive or something crazy, but something that he knows is important to you. What's a common red flag in real life romance that movies often gloss over or even accidentally glorify? Well, a red flag for me would be when two people are in an argument or they decide to take a break for a while, and the very night or the next day they hook up with somebody else. That to me would be a huge red flag. But every time you see it in movies, they always take the person back. Never. I could never. I mean so little to you that as soon as you think I'm out of the picture, you just fall into bed with somebody else. I could never trust a person who did that. And in the movies sometimes, it just seems as if it's the most natural thing to do. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. And again, that's something that happened in the movie I reviewed last week. As soon as they had a fight, went to somebody else. Or they go back to their ex. It's like sometimes people cannot be alone. Sometimes you need to be on your own to reflect. So for me, hooking up with somebody else when we're in a fight or when we're on a break is most definitely a no-no. What's a memorable romantic moment you've spent with someone that was outside of the bedroom? I have been with my husband for so long that it's hard to think of things because my memory, I can't even remember what I did last week, never mind to think 30 years ago. But I do remember that when I was dating my husband, we live here in Italy, and during the summer, even now, we suffer power shortages. The light goes out often. And I remember that we were together one evening and the lights went out. And there was no talk of bed, there was nothing sexual, it was nothing like that. We just put some candles up and we sat on the floor and we spoke about everything. We spoke about our family, we spoke about our friends, we spoke about our dreams, our fears, our ambitions. We talked about movies, we talked about books, we talked about our holidays, places that we would love to see. I mean, we spoke about everything, and it was a way of getting to know each other. And I have to say, it was really romantic because I remember talking to him and him sitting there and listening, and you could tell that he was listening to every single word. So yes, it was a moment in time that I have never forgotten, even after all these years, because it was really, really romantic and it meant a lot to me. So that was a lot of fun answering these questions. And you know what? I think I'm going to have to do some more because there are so many things that can be said and it never ends really. But you know, this was just like a little fun video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below if you agree with some of the things that I said. If not, give me your opinions and where you stand when it comes to romance and love. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. But until then, be kind to yourself, okay? See you soon. Bye for now. Ciao.